Up everyone, happy Monday. Thank you guys so much once again for tuning back in for this fresh week of trading here, and let's get right into another recap here. So today, as you can tell from the thumbnail, was not the most productive day for me. I basically ended broken even. I was up nothing, right, like $1 and change. But I do want to go ahead and cover how my day went as far as trading and where I messed up, because there was definitely opportunity to end green today, and yeah, there's no excuses. So if you guys will notice, for my filled orders, I only have 17 today, and that's usually a lot less than I normally take it. I usually maybe even take in the hundreds of trades, but my brother and I recently, if you guys have been watching the videos, we're really trying to trade, taking a lot fewer trades throughout the day and instead just focusing on quality trades, right, rather than quantity. And of course that makes sense, but I want to go ahead and talk to you guys about more of what I mean. So right around here is when the market opened up, and I would typically tend to send a trade right when the market opens up and fully size in quick. But what I'm doing different with my brother is we're not looking to be so impulsive with these trades, because when there is a lot of chop, when the market doesn't want to have a clear direction up or down, it can really keep faking you out. If you keep sizing in heavy, it starts to go your way only to fall, and then you would cut the trade only for it to eventually actually pick up, right? And those types of fake outs are what always get me to be very red, and I'm trying to avoid that. And the way I would avoid that is by taking fewer trades, right? It's as simple as that, and making sure they're really worth it. So today, instead of taking any trade right around these levels here when the market was closer to the middle VWAP, I took a look at the NASDAQ on the bigger picture time frames, and that's where I drew these red lines. These are potential areas I've seen in the past where, let's say this top line here could be a potential resistance, right? Anytime in the past, the market has kind of tended to struggle around this area and fall a bit. And just like how vice versa, around these levels, the market has tended to find a support for the upside, right? And end up bouncing for a play for TQQQ. And right around here, the third line here was another potential area of support, right, where the market has tended to fall to and bounce before. So once I was looking out for those basically areas of potential resistances and supports, I wanted to take a trade where the profit to, or basically the risk to reward, was very worth it in my eyes, right? And it wouldn't be so worth it if I'm taking a trade towards the middle here, because my risk to reward, if I'm taking a trade for SQs thinking it'll fall, it's basically the same for TQs, right? If I were to stop out, I would stop out once it broke a new high right around here. But the risk to reward is basically the same, right? How much I can make if it fell would be basically the same amount if I were to stop out for a loss, right? And that's what I want to avoid. And I basically was going to be very patient for today, and when the market started to open up and trade, I was waiting for a play to happen, because as you can see here, the market started to sell off, had a big green candle, making everyone maybe think it was going to start to find a support, only to sell off harder and then push up again aggressively. These are the fake outs I'm talking about, and that's what I wanted to avoid. So when the market ended up falling to this general area here, I ended up actually getting into TQs kind of right around here, and I got in early, and it ended up falling more, and I ended up being down, I'd say, around $20 total after buying in, and it kept falling, right? So that's where I stopped out, and ultimately I ended up taking another trade where the NASDAQ pushed to these levels I said I would, right? I needed to be more patient, and it ended up finding a reversal and a nice leg up for TQQQ. So where I went wrong here, unfortunately, was that the NASDAQ I thought was going to form another leg down before it had that big fake out kind of for everyone and this big leg up. And the reason why I thought that was going to happen was because the market was pretty aggressively selling off. And I find that it very rarely happens where the market will tend to bounce exactly where it has before, right? And just being aware of that, I thought we were going to try and get a bounce here, but it was going to look like, you know, it looks almost a little too picture perfect is what I mean. And I thought we were going to basically get another leg down and a break below here before we got the gap up. So unfortunately, I only bought in with a quarter, and I basically missed out on all of this trade right here because I didn't get to average in where I wanted to. I'm trying to make sure too, when I fully size in at these areas where I find the risk to reward to be worth it, that I do tend to size in quicker, because in that case I can cut the trade at a smart area and it won't be such a big loss, right? Versus if I were to buy in with a quarter here and wait to fully average in around these areas, that would still be a pretty hefty loss, right? If I were to sell out where it makes sense. But if I were to fully average in quicker, I'll only be giving in basically a fraction of what I would if I got in somewhere up here, right? That's what I want to focus on, taking quality trades that are really worth it. That's what I want to emphasize. So that's what ended up happening, but the market unfortunately went without me, and I ended up only making, I'd say, $40 total on this rally up. So I was green on the day, now $20, right, after losing 20 on this drop down. And right after that, I ended up taking a play on SQQQ, and that's what you guys will notice, right? The whole morning I took plays on TQs until my last play was on SQQQ. And the reason for that was just as simple as why I wanted to get TQs. The market ended up pushing up, right, rallying a lot, and it became a little more overbought in my eyes. It started approaching territory where I thought it could fall. So the market, when it did start to rally up, when it started to hit this resistance area, right, it was trying to form, I bought in with a quarter right around here, and the market did end up pushing up, and I wasn't worried because I was only in with a quarter, right? I was buying into SQQQ, hoping for a play back down. And I did end up buying in one more quarter as the market pushed up right around here, and I only bought in with another quarter, right? So I was only in with half. And the reason for that was because I didn't want to fully size in around here with the potential for the Nasdaq to keep on rallying aggressively, right? Look at these charts. If it wanted to break above here, it could have really skyrocketed. And that's why I wanted to do my part and only being in with half. So I could still set my stop loss somewhere smart, but I would only be down half of what I would if I was fully in, right? So the play actually ended up starting to go my way with this huge sell-off, right? I bought in with another quarter here, and it still never stopped me out. My stop was going to be somewhere where the Nasdaq were to make new highs, right? That were to show me that it wants to keep uptrending. But around here is where it's tended to get rejected, and that's what I was looking out for. So until it made new highs, I was going to aim for a play down for SQs, right? So once I bought in with another quarter here, I was still in the red as it pushed up, but as it started to come back down, right around here, I was up on the trade, I'd say around $30, right? Because I was only in with half, and I was up, I'd say, around $50 on that point on the day. And I could have locked it in, but I just wanted to really let my trade play out. I typically tend to cut my trade short that go my way. And if this thing really were to have kept selling off down here, I could have ended the day up very nicely, right? Up around, let's say, $100 or more. But because it ended up reversing here, I ended up having to sell out once the market closed, and it was basically for a broken even trade, right? Or broken even day. I was down $18 on that trade, and I was up $20 on TQs, right? Like I told you guys. So unfortunately, that's where I went wrong. I couldn't lock this trade in here, and on top of that, I missed out on this big leg up. But very excited for a new trading strategy. It feels a lot smarter to avoid all this chop, right? To not be so basically dialed into the trade. I feel a lot more relaxed just letting it run, being in with less. And yeah, I hope a lot of you guys can also relate to that. And if any of you have also been finding yourself losing a lot of money, constantly being faked out, this is something I would definitely suggest, right? Being in with a smaller dollar amount so you can really let the trade play out more without feeling so pressured to cut it or anything like that. So thank you guys so much once again for another recap here. I hope you guys all learned a lot, and I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Take care.